Well, here's cattails in a beautiful undeveloped pond, and you can identify them pretty well because there's almost always a red-winged blackbird in there, just like that cutie that you see there. Do you hear that? Oh yeah, beautiful song. There we go. Beautiful red-winged blackbirds in the cattails. That's where they live. You can even see a nice old nest from last year right in there.
College cattail harvesting video. As you can see, I've already been digging around in the mud. We're going to harvest some cattails. It's our #1 most important food and #1 most important plant in general to learn, especially in a survival situation. Anywhere in the mid to northern parts of the United States and into Canada and all across North America, this is about the quickest place you can get a lot of carbohydrates. And as a matter of fact, in our area, I can't think of hardly anything else that will give you anything quick. There are some oaks around here, but it's not exactly a survival food to get those acorns processed very quickly. So we need to find cattails first thing in order to get food in a survival situation. And it's wonderful nutrition anytime. So we could, if we found a very clean source, eat cattails a lot, because cattails do bioaccumulate toxins. And so you don't want to harvest it near roads or especially not near railroads. But if in a survival situation you need to get some food right away, a normal pond would be all right for a little while to eat some from. So what you want to do is look in here and see if you can see the shoots that had developed the end of last summer into the fall that are just waiting for warm weather. Now it's late February, and we are any time of year able to harvest cattails. The rhizomes underneath that are going from this new shoot came from probably this stalk right here last year. We'll see. I'm going to follow it with my fingers underneath back to where it came from originally. See if we can get this out of the ground. So I'm going to get down there, and you don't really want to use a shovel at first because you might just cut off the rhizome, and that's what you really want. The shoot's a nice delectable meal, but it's a little treat, but the rhizome has all that wonderful starch in it. Looks like it's going back this direction. See if I can get back to where it originates. And if you pull it up, you'll see the true roots coming out from the shoot and the rhizome right there. Can you see those at all? And those true roots are holding it fast in the mud. Let's see where it goes to. If it goes past this one, it'd be great because it'd be a wonderful long rhizome that we can harvest. Looks like it runs into another rhizome from somewhere. Yep, it's coming from right here. And so I'm just going to head, for demonstration purposes, I might dig out a lot of this, pull out a lot of rhizomes, but check this out. It is, I'm going to get a bunch more. Look at that. All right, take that whole stalk and I might replant it in another pond that needs to be cleaned up. The cattails will help clean up that pond and pull out toxins. But this one's a pretty clean source, and so we're going to take this home and we're going to cook it up. Maybe we'll make a fire and just throw it on the coals, heat it up, and eat it straight as it is because it's really good. Of course, you're going to clean this up and pull all this mud off first. Inside that rhizome, though, wonderful starch globules on the stringy portion there. You'll see that. Or maybe we'll just take it in the kitchen, fry it up with a little butter and salt, and eat it like that. It'll be a great, wonderful meal. Let's go. Here we are with that cattail that we harvested out of the pond. Back here home, it's starting to get dark. We're going to put this in here, and it'll grow. It should grow this spring. This shoot should start coming right up. And then we're going to take the other one that we harvested inside and cook it up for a good meal for dinner tonight. Here we go. All you need to do is dig down in your wetland just a little bit. This is a bioswale that we dug. Kind of a rain garden. You can see from the house all the gutters funnel right into this ditch. And we slow the water down coming through here, and we clean it up using these cattails, putting cattails in here. The rushes will help clean it up a little bit. We also have logs right here, that mushrooms. Right in front of the camera, you can see some of the mushrooms starting to come up that we inoculated in these alder logs that are right here. Well, planting cattails is not too challenging. You've got to make sure that you have a nice shoot that's ready to come up and grow your new cattail. And it's good to collect from a few different sources so that when they pollinate and grow amongst one another, it's good diversity for them to repopulate. You want to put it down in there so that shoot is sticking up, and then take the mud that you dug out, cover the rhizome back up, put it on in here. Pretty much as easy as that. Cattails will grow in most wetland soils as long as it doesn't dry out too much during the summer or get too deep during the winter. Spring or fall for different areas, of course. There's high and low water times. That's pretty much it. Get this pushed down a little bit so it doesn't tip over. And this cattail should mitigate the pollution coming off the road so that it's a fairly clean and organic orchard that we're putting in behind us. You can see all the sticks in here are for trees that we're about to plant. Have nice fruits and berries back here, and these mushrooms, cattails, rushes, and other plants that we're going to put in here are going to help mitigate any pollution that might be coming off the road. All right, let's head inside and cook up these cattails. All right, we're back inside about to cook up our cattail, and we could have started a fire outside and let it get really hot and burn it down to some coals and just throw that cattail rhizome right on there, heat it up, kill anything that might have been in the water, and then eat it straight like that. It's been perfectly fine. Here's that cattail rhizome. I noticed that there's a couple of shoots right on there, so I think I'm going to take those off. You could eat them, it'd be all right, but as a matter of fact, it'd be a nice little morsel. But I'm going to take those off, and I'm going to plant those back in our bioswale rain garden so we can have a chance of those growing. I'm going to leave some of the true roots on the rhizome so that it'll have a chance to feed itself when I put it back down in the mud to have that grow. The rest of it we're going to fry right up here in the pan, and you can do it any way you want, any way you cook potatoes or anything else. What I'm going to do is just make it the easiest possible thing. I'm going to put some butter in a pan, put the cattail right on in there. I've washed it off really well, of course. Make sure I don't have any dirt taste. Just like if you were harvesting potatoes or something like that, you'd wash them really well and then you'd fry them back up. So we're going to sit here and just let this cook for a little while. It just needs to heat all the way through because on the inside there, you might notice I stripped this in half already so you can see this. It already has all of the starch. You can eat it raw if you didn't have to worry about giardia. But normally you just have this full rhizome in here, and then you strip it off afterwards, strip it in half, and eat all the starch that's on these stringy pieces on the inside here. So I'm going to let that cook up for a couple of minutes. Make sure you kill anything that was in the water, and then we'll enjoy it together. And we've been cooking this cattail, and the butter, of course, is one of the oils that burns at a low temperature, and so it's starting to smoke, you might see. So I'm going to put some steam in there and just let it cook in the nice hot steamy water for another minute or so, and that will be just about perfect. We don't need to overcook it. So alright, our cattail's been cooking for 2 minutes now, and we're going to take a look at it. Starting to turn a little bit of color. You can tell then that it's definitely cooked. And so I'm going to mix it around in the leftover butter and water that I had in there. So it's a partial steam, partial fry sort of a situation. You could use olive oil or any of your favorite oils, or actually you can just heat it up and that'll be fine too. It's actually one of those wild edible foods that actually tastes really good to the person that hasn't even tried it before. So, but of course, just like if you were cooking potatoes or anything else, few people eat potatoes just straight up nowadays. Want butter and salt and all sorts of things, so you can put a little bit of salt and pepper. I have coarse ground salt and some sea salt and coarse ground pepper in here. And so if it's not perfect to your taste, you can add all sorts of seasonings that are used to doing for any kind of other kind of food. So just to test first, let's take a look, and I think I'll cut off just a little portion. And pick that up. Nice and hot. And notice on the inside there you've got nice strips of cattail. You can pull right off there, and if the camera were really good, you could close up see there's all sorts of nice little starchy globules on there. I'll put it underneath the light and see if you can see that. Alright, now you can just eat that whole thing straight up if you want. Pull out more and eat everything except for the skin of that. I suppose some people eat the skin if they're hardcore, but I just like the inside part where all the starch is anyway. And so, or if you like, another way to go, because it's pretty stringy, if you don't need all that fiber, you could spit it out after you chew up all the starch, or you can just pull all the starch off like this. I must say that's my favorite way to do it, because then you don't have to worry about all the strings in your teeth. And it's just very sweet, of course, because it's a nice carbohydrate. That's so good. Well, that comes to the conclusion of our cattail harvesting, transplanting, and cooking video. Go to wolfcollege.com and check out my blog post about it. I'm Chris Chisholm, and my wife Kim and I run Wolf Camp and the Wolf College. We do workshops and expeditions, wild edible foods, wilderness survival, wildlife tracking, and all sorts of other kinds of earth skills. So we hope you join us sometime. Thanks.